Hi, do you remember when you were just a little child popping up out of your bed like a champagne cork, exuberantly curious, wanting to begin your day? I hope that you have had these happy experiences. I know that this is what would be considered a normal childhood, and not everyone had a normal childhood. So being respectful and having a sense of compassion and empathy for those of you who had a more unfortunate childhood. I am sorry and can hope that you, through your own wisdom and maturity, can review your past with a greater sense of clarity of why circumstances were as they were. Have a sense of solace from this. But for whatever memories we have had, it's valuable to be able to review and to remember all of the days of our lives, all of the things that we have done is worthwhile. And recently suggested to myself to be more cognizant, to be more aware, and to recommend to myself to be more remembering of everything, anything that's happened in my life. And boy, oh boy, I'm amazed at all the ideas and circumstances and names that have, over the last 3 or 4 weeks, started popping into my mind. Truly amazing. It is with a sense of gratitude that I look at these memories. And not all of them could be considered nice or kind or pleasant. Some are filled with tears and anguish. We can offer to our own self a chance of exhibiting compassion and empathy for the things that have occurred. I had an older brother, sometimes would be mean to me. And I understand now why, because my parents favored many times my behavior rather than his. And so there was a level of resentment that he had. Of course, I didn't understand it then as a little boy, but today I can. And bring to those memories a sense of humanity, a sense of empathy for him, a sense of compassion for the experiences. I know there are many that have even more unfortunate circumstances in their past. Again, I'm sorry. And yet, ask you to consider bringing your wisdom and maturity and your whole life experience into your understanding and evaluation of your own past. It's important to remember whom you are. We are more than just this moment. We have the possibilities of our future, and we have the history of the moments that have come before us and we have gone through. And we're here now. And we are bundles of miracles, no matter our past. And we deserve the opportunity to make amends with what's happened in our lives and to raise our eyes to the horizon, to our futures, unfettered by what's occurred in the past, as much as we can. And we have tools. We have attributes. We have characteristics and qualities and virtues. We can exude through our pores, just as we exude our heat. And we can change the nature of our own being, as we do in every moment that we live. Suggesting we evaluate everything about ourselves with a more open mind. And as need be for those who have had the most traumatic of experiences, to seek help, to seek someone else's professional counseling to help soothe events from the past. Help yourself. This is a tool that our society offers. Things are not all wine and roses in our world. We know that. We know that there's a tremendous variety in mankind and in mankind's thinking and mankind's actions, and shit happens. Knowing that, we each have the capability and the potential, the possibility of restructuring what's happened in the past, what's happening now, and helping to guide ourselves in our future. So finding ourselves in a comfortable posture, in such a place that we can focus on our conversation, remembering the heat of our body as it is exuding through our skin, remembering the pulse of our bloodstream as it's warming our body all over and feeding our cells, following the rise and the fall of one's chest as we breathe in and as we breathe out. Coming closer to our physiology, we gain a perspective that begins with this, but as we investigate deeper, we realize that there's a lot more than just us as individuals. There is a world that we are part of, a society, a civilization of other Homo sapiens, but of all other kinds of species and life. And beyond that, a solar system that we are part of with the sun and other planets. And we have the capacity to analyze and investigate and have done so, and find that there is indeed a huge immensity of creation that we are part of. What does all this do? And how does this all relate? Is that it gives us the opportunity to widen our perspective on everything we think and do. It's as simple as that. Utilizing our own humanity, our own physical characteristics, as a tool to heighten our awareness and sense of remembering of whom and what and where and when and why and how we are, how we're here, how we exist. Where does this all segue to come full circle? To come back to the beginning of this podcast, where a child is awakening and popping out of bed like a champagne cork. It is in our perspective. It is in our greater awareness, sensitivity, and for our desire to improve the character and qualities of our own perception of our world, in the hope and in the determination that we will and that we can and that we are making changes in our being, our individual being, and so by in our collective being for self-improvement. Tomorrow, as you wake up, that you jump from your bed with a vitality and enthusiasm, filled with the joy of just being alive, of having an opportunity to be understanding, to make positive change. This is what we're doing. This is what we want to do. All we need to do is follow through, practicing all of the time, as often as one can. Doesn't have to be long periods of time. It can be just several moments. Dedicated opportunities of meditation or mindfulness exercises, of course, enhances one's capabilities and potential. The more that we practice, the more that we engage ourselves in practices of self-improvement, the better that we will get at it, the more that we will notice our improvement, which will in turn further our enthusiasm for what we're doing, and the better off we will be, and all of those that surround us will become. Oh, just some thoughts this morning, some difficult thoughts, really, to share, because I know that there are people out there that are still hurting, even after decades of being adults. And my heart reaches out to yours. Again, I'm sorry. But we need to make the best of what we have. And I wish you every success in your effort at finding a greater depth and sense of being that is more than events that occurred in the past. We are here now, bundles of miracles. Change your world for the better every day, being appreciative and humble for whatever has occurred, to understand that these are lessons, or can be considered lessons if we want them to be. Making the most out of whatever opportunity presents us with. This is a key. Have a wonderful day. Be pensive, be thoughtful, and smile. Namaste.